Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, want to thank everybody for their support over at Patreon, where we have exclusive videos going up each week, typically, sometimes 2, 3, or more.
Yes, and we're putting, if you want to learn about energy work, we are teaching on Patreon as well, and we do answer questions in there. Try to really stay close to people who are trying to learn energy work, and we want to say thank you to our newest Patreon, Cause007. Thank you.
Wow, she did it all from memory.
I did.
So, yeah, we have different, over on Patreon, we have different topics, different groupings, collections, if you will. This one, Superhuman Potential, has 34 videos in it.
And that's one that you would want to watch too if you are going to learn energy work. You definitely want to watch that playlist. Absolutely.
So here we go, a faint tale of Comet Lemon. This is C/2025A6. This was taken from the Tokyo suburbs. You know, again, if you were out in a more obscure place with less light, it would probably be more intense. You can look towards the western sky and just, or northwest in particular, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I should point out. And you may see it. It should keep brightening over next week. Again, this is just one of, right now, 4. But at some point, by the time we get to April, it'll be like 17 comets altogether. Yeah, are they really comets? No, I mean, in our opinion, no. We're talking a lot about ships. We've always been talking about ships. But disclosure, it's been given. By the way, a 16-meter wide asteroid discovered only 5 days ago flew by closer than the moon. Yes, the moon, the distance from the Earth to the moon is one thing. The distance from the Earth to the sun is quite another, as obviously the sun is much farther away than the moon.
And why didn't they tell us?
What's that?
Tell us
this?
about this.
Because they didn't notice it, supposedly.
Wow.
So, but at the same time, I've been following this for about, again, 8 to 10 years. And typically it's kind of usual to get about 100 objects a year that fly between us and the moon, or at least that relative distance, because I wanted to specify that. This was Mr. MBB. Him and quite a few other people were putting out there that, he called it Comet C/2025A1. He corrects over here, it's C/2025A6 Lemon. Is racing towards Earth on a path that may bring it closer than the moon. I don't know where he got that, or where the other people got that it's going to come closer than the moon, because that's close. And if we had a comet incoming closer than the moon, I think all the red flags would be going off, sirens everywhere, because we'd be worried about, again, an extinction level event. When you're talking about something that's much, much larger with so much impact potential. So, I was asking over here, the Brave browser, how close is Comet Lemon going to get? Well, Comet Lemon's going to make its closest approach to Earth on Tuesday, October 21st, at a distance of approximately 0.596 AU. An astronomical unit is the distance from the Earth to the Sun. So that's about 89.2 million kilometers, or 55.4 million miles. This is going to occur near the time of the new moon, which is ideal for observation. So, we're going to have to watch. I mean, shoot, we're only 4 days away from this. It'd be exciting to see. Absolutely. Its brightness is expected to peak around this time, potentially reaching a apparent magnitude of 3.5 to 4.4. Naked eye visibility can be probably had. Certainly, if you have small binoculars, that would definitely help. So, yeah, exciting. Closer than the moon? No. Again, when you're talking about the distance of the moon from the Earth, I want to say it's somewhere around 200 and something thousand miles. Distance from moon to Earth which is, we're not talking in the millions. Yeah, 238,855 miles is the moon's distance. So, yeah, 55.4 million, way, way, way beyond that. Now, Comet C2025 R2 Swan is making its closest approach to the Earth October 20th. And that distance is going to be 0.26 AU, or about 24 million miles. So Comet Swan is coming a lot closer to us. But still, pretty far away. And then we have Comet Atlas, the biggest of them all when it comes to newsmaker. What's the distance there? It's 167 million miles, they say. So that's actually 1.797 AU. So, 1 3/4 the distance away from the sun. So, not coming as close as the others. But, this is just 3 of like 17 that we know about. Maybe there'll be others that we don't know about between now and April. And April's 6 months away. It's just wild times that we have.
It is, and I really, really believe that these comets that are coming through, they affect our consciousness in such a big way, especially 3i Atlas, because the 3i Atlas is talking to a lot of people. I mean, it really, really is. A lot of people are getting messages to and about. A lot of people are reporting, what they know to be the scientific facts. And to me, that's also another form of communication. So if this is communicating in a big way, I believe all the other comets, angels, call them what you will, ships, they are definitely affecting us.
Yeah, people have called extraterrestrial, ultra-dimensional beings angels. There are angels, but again, angels are beings on a much higher frequency that would not appear visible. Again, they wouldn't appear to be solid per se. Again, more like a light being to our perception. So, again, the whole world has been clouded by certain certain mindsets that then make it very hard to not see things under that clouding. And the typhoon that, again, the remnants that hit western Alaska, it did cause massive flooding, as we said, 1,400 people displaced, and literally one of the biggest airlifts, certainly the biggest airlift in Alaskan history. Again, Alaska has less than 1 million people living over there.
Before that one, but then there was another house.
Again, it's just a sign of the times, of what we have going on. Massive airlifts, and this, when I looked at this reminded me of a vision I had about 4 or 5 years ago. That I remember waking up and telling Cindy, because I saw big planes like these Globemasters loaded with troops coming to the U.S. Foreign troops. Perhaps they were UN troops. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there were foreign troops in big planes like these C-17 Globemasters that can, house tremendous numbers of people, and they were coming to the U.S. in that vision, and that really, these pictures triggered that for me, because it was just like this. I was looking at it like this, and seeing all these troops that were coming here. I think it was because of, I gotta say, it came around the same time that had the vision of the major quakes that happened. And, talking about quakes, wow, it's been interesting to watch. This is what they call the significant quakes for the last 30 days. As you can see, we have a 7.8, which was up here. We have a 7.6, we have a 7.4, 3 over 7, three mid to, going up towards 8, because they usually downgrade, if anything. That's significant in the last 30 days. And then a 6.9 and a 6.6 and the 6.7, 6.5, 6, look, you can see big activity over here, over here, over here. It's just wondering about the West Coast. And, there was, I watched a video from On the Pulse with Silky. You remember Silky? We talked about her before. I think a lot of you guys subscribe to her too. And it was fascinating because the Rock made a very, very cheesy movie about a major quake in the LA area. And then really what happened was in the movie, the first thing that went was a major quake around Vegas, and then it triggered the San Andreas and Cascadia to all go. Now, again, a lot of times the movie scripts, well, yeah, whatever you want, however you want to look at it, they're very telling because we will see news that pops out that kind of verifies what the movie scripts were putting out. So it seems that when we talk about the area around Vegas and we talk about Lake Mead, we all know Lake Mead is shrinking. It's shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. It's going down to record lows. The other thing that just came in recently is the whole ground there is subsiding. It's sinking in. And it's literally, again, they are pulling so much water. This is happening over in Iran too, where they're pulling so much water for Tehran and the population there. It's causing massive sinkholes, gigantic sinkholes. And so what you have right now is they're finding that not only is Lake Mead shrinking, and it's going to get very, very dangerous. We were talking about on the last video on evolutionary food riots, again, because the EBT SNAP benefits might be discontinued in November because of the government shutdown unless something's done. How about water riots? How about water wars? Water wars are real. In fact, again, this over here feeds even into Southern California. And if this goes, then is Las Vegas and Phoenix even possible? It's interesting. Remote viewers have seen that these areas are going to be vacated by massive amounts of people because of the changes in the water flow. And there are water wars. There's all sorts of legal resolutions going through between different states warring with each other over the precious water. And at the same time, what do we have going on? We literally have signs that the ground over here, because of pulling so much water out for the populations, is subsiding. And now there could be other factors too. And, that's just scary. So you may have a major quake in the Vegas Lake Mead area here in northwestern Arizona. And the other thing that Silky was talking about is a new study that shows that these things can tie all together. That literally one big quake in Cascadia or in San Andreas, this new study shows it could end up triggering the other. Which again, when Cindy had her vision, she saw all three go, with the new Madrid going too. I had a vision again of Cascadia, and then about 6 weeks later I had a vision of San Andreas going, and it was again, both cases, it was like I was watching the news, having my coffee, watching the news, saying, holy crap, it actually happened. Again, just to be aware of where we are at this state and time.
Well, it reminds me so much of our own meridians and, even our reflex system. If you hit yourself in a certain area, well, your whole leg is going to move, or your meridians. Sometimes you can damage your toe and it's going to affect your heart. So I can see this totally being tied together. So if something big does happen out west, yeah, it definitely could shoot across the United States or, across the globe for that matter. It's all tied together.
It is, and this is all the body of Mother Earth, which is a very real entity. And so if we look just at what we got going on today, there's the 6.1 over here, but we did have a couple of other sixes that just went off the board in the last 24 hours. So it's been a lot of activity. Here you go. This is a stunning development after a decade of corruption, et cetera, et cetera. The Stacey Abrams nonprofit, the New Georgia Project, shuts down. It shut down. Yeah, again, it's coming out. It's coming out. There's a lot of these entities that are dissolving and disappearing, and there's a lot of realization happening. Another thing that's interesting is more people seeing what they say could be mysterious spy balloons again over several U.S. states. Is there an invasion underway? Well, yeah, again, the real alien invasion happened a long time ago. But there have been illegal alien invasions going on, and then there's been the conditions which makes it so that people are always migrating. So, again, a lot of people will never look beyond what hits them directly, and won't even ask, well, why are people leaving Syria, Iraq? Why are they leaving Afghanistan and coming here? Or why are they leaving Sudan or some other countries? They don't necessarily ask that. They just say, why are people coming into our area? Well, when you look closer, you realize there's nonstop wars that go on to displace people. So they're literally looking for a much better life for themselves and their family, which you can't blame anybody for. And yet what we have ongoing here is we have reports from Colorado, Arizona, and Alabama describing white objects hovering far above the clouds, reminiscent of the 2023 Chinese spy balloon incident. So, lots of reports coming in, and it's just confusing now because we have balloons, spy balloons. Some of these balloons have been identified as high-tech companies again. We have weather observation balloons, and then we also have some UAPs. We've had drone fiascos ongoing in the Nordic countries now, and we had them here before all over New Jersey and other areas. In Boulder, Colorado, locals reported seeing what was later identified as an Aerostar Thunderhead steerable balloon. Not just a weather balloon, can carry signal gathering equipment, communications, or other signals. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the sky, and there's weird signs everywhere that we are in a very different time at this point in time.
Things are absolutely changing, coming to a head. It might appear to be very, very ugly, but I think this is the time we use our ability to co-create and create a different, better world despite all the things that seem to be pulling it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And, here we go. We're getting like a DDS attack again.
Yep.
DDoS attack. This article, RFK Jr. is talking about the fact that we have a national security threat, and it's the declining birth rate. It's literally, it is a national emergency. So today the fertility rate is at 1.6 when the original JFK was in there. It was at 3.5, more than double. So in other words, if it wasn't for the migration, we would have an absolute population collapse on our hands. And that's another thing that migration hides is the actual numbers of people on the planet. When you're constantly shuffling the deck and moving cards to cover other areas, you can't necessarily see that there's a lot less people in certain areas. Mm-hmm. I think it's big. I mean, big time. And it does hide a depopulation event that's processing out there. We are in a period of massive depopulation. And we are also getting the revelation, this is Secretary of State Marco Rubio, UFOs observed flying over restricted U.S. nuclear facilities. They're not from our world, just says that. Pretty blatantly. Yeah, because it's always been an ultra-terrestrial event. That's what has always been ongoing. Again, the alien ant farm. And, I've bought tons of Girl Scout cookies in the past. When you analyze them, this is what they found inside of them. 100% contain glyphosate, which is, that herbicide that you find in Roundup, as this is...
as we're crashing.
Yeah, this is the system saying, don't tattletale on us anymore. 88% contain toxic heavy metals, arsenic, lead, mercury. Thin mints, glyphosate levels 334 times what's harmful. Yeah, peanut butter patties laden with lead, alarming levels of aluminum, isn't just unhealthy, it's purposeful systemic poisoning. So again, the companies that make them, they need to be shut down. Why is Monsanto still operating? They should be shut down and tried for crimes against humanity. By the way, Ace Frehley has apparently left the world, although, he took a fall, and they say there was blood on the brain that caused issues, and was on life support. And I guess the family has disconnected the life support. It was interesting. Cindy was tapping in and still getting that he was last night able to kind of enter the body, and again, there's a process when we leave the body and awaken to the fact that when we're embodied is when we're more sleeping than when we're out.
Yeah, if you don't shoot straight up, a lot of people hang around it, especially when they have very, very close family ties, which is normal. They want to try to figure out what exactly happened. And this is a case where I did see him trying to go into the body and reanimate, but he couldn't. So that must have been very frustrating. And, back to the Girl Scout cookies, that just really infuriates me, because Girl Scouts, it's such a good thing for children to get out into the world and to learn things and to make connections and to be somebody. And look what they're doing to them. This is so deliberate, and this is why we do this, because we do want to shine a light on things that are evil. It's not that we're negative, but if you don't say something, these beings are going to continue to do what they do because we're not saying something. So, we have to continue. This is for our children, and it's so, so sad. And I really feel bad about the Kiss singer too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bounce back, but
no, it's okay. And then the reality is it's a lot of adults too that eat this. But
Thin Mints were my favorite. I loved them.
I know. I think that was like
ago.
Everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
Or how about what are they, Samoas or Samosas?
I don't know,
Those
but they were
good.
so good.
Look at this guy, pulled over for speeding. He can't help it. It's his nature. He wants to fly. Again, we want to fly, but they're loading our food with toxic heavy metals to keep us grounded, to keep us not thinking clearly. This is the big revelation that's been going on, and they hate the whole concept. When we were talking about the rainbow body and ascension, then we had all sorts of technical problems with Wayne yesterday in the live. Yeah, they don't want us going to a place where they can't reach us anymore, and they can't manipulate us anymore, because again, we're not ruled by elites, we're ruled by parasites. Again, soulless, spineless entities that just simply leech off of others. This is the realization that we are having on the planet. And simply put, we don't need them. We're far better off without them.
We are. We do not want that anymore. We want to make something different, do something different. You just can't keep going on or fix a problem with the very same thing that created it. So we need to do different. We need to break the pattern. To me, it's a lot like healing, ancestral trauma. And this is ancestral, and it's not going to happen overnight, and it starts with you.
Absolutely. And again, we thank you guys for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys. Please do share these videos. Make sure you're subscribed, and thumbs up to try to overcome the algorithms. Source bless, and namaste.
Namaste.